Hi there. And guess what? It's nearly half term. You've nearly made it. Now, of course, if you work in the office, you may not be getting a week off, which I apologise for saying this. But if you're a teacher or a teaching assistant, if you get your week off, I'm sure you're really looking forward to it. Although, mind you, in my experience, half term, God, there are so many issues with it because it's just not long enough. Quite often, as a teacher or a teaching assistant, I bet you get ill in your half-term holiday. Your body's been fighting to stay fit, for several weeks probably, and then when you've got a little breather, often it'll cave in and you'll be ill. And then, of course, you've got piles of marking, probably assessment stuff to do, schemes of work to look at. You've probably got a huge backlog of work, stuff you need to get ready for next half-term so you can cope when you're back to it. And you should be doing all of that to get on top of things. And then you've got things like, maybe doing your garden that you probably haven't looked at, some DIY probably need doing, you've probably got piles of washing to catch up on. Oh, and then there's relationships, aren't there? If you've got young children, they're probably desperately hoping you're going to spend some time with them. Oh, it sounds really tiring and stressful. You've probably got a partner who's hoping you might actually have time for some detailed conversations, or just grunting at them, etc, etc. And therefore, quite often in a half term you can end up feeling pretty pressurised and stressed about all the things you need to do. Well, can I just suggest this to you? Just for a minute, imagine a battle-weary soldier. He's been away in the wars and he's coming home with probably bloodied, bruised, probably wounded, with his uniform in tatters, absolutely exhausted from months and months spent at the war. When he's thinking about coming home again, is he going to be thinking about, oh my word, the pressure, all those things I need to do, and those people are going to expect things of me? No, he's not, is he? He's going to be thinking very fondly of having a hot bath, somebody looking after his wounds, a nice set of clean clothes, a lovely soft warm bed to sleep in, seeing his family again and sort of really enjoying the company of the people that he loves. And that's the way that he's going to be thinking. He's not going to have any sort of anxious thoughts about the fact that, he really has a massive to-do list that he should be cracking on with. He'd feel perfectly justified in thinking about the things that he needs to do, that he's longing for in order for him to recover. And let's make no bones about it, the pressure that you live and work under during term time, it is a bit like being in the wars. It's pretty tough. So can I just invite you to think now, just for a minute, in terms of what do I need to do for me this holiday? Now, again, if you've got little children that are going to be all over you with non-stop action, I know it's not that long since my two were small. They're teenagers now, and therefore they don't get out of bed in the mornings. But when they were little, holidays are sometimes incredibly draining, so I really know how hard it is. And I know you're going to be telling me it's very challenging, but can I say, please don't just give up on this. You may have to be really quite resourceful, you may have to bring all your creativity to bear on it, but you do that for your kids at school, in your classes. So now use a little bit of creativity, a little bit of resourcefulness for yourself to get what you need. So it may be that you really need a whole day in bed. That might be what you need. You might need to curl up in front of the fire with that really good book you've been wanting to read. You might need a long walk all by yourself by the sea. You might need to just have a nice long stretch socialising with a friend you haven't seen for ages, just having a really good giggle and letting your hair down. You might need to spend a whole day in the garage tinkering with some DIY project you were doing. It doesn't really matter, but just think in terms of what do I need to do for me, to nourish me, to help me to get back on track, to kind of give me something back. And if you've got a partner or family or friends who are kind of going to be expecting stuff of you, who frankly miss you understandably when you're so busy, you may need to kind of actually ask them to allow you to do that, on the understanding that you'll then have something in you to give back to them. And certainly if you've got little kids, quite often it's a case, isn't it, of having to negotiate, well, if I have the kids this time, could you take them away then? Or you may have to pay for some childcare. But can I just encourage you not to ignore that. This is a time when you need some time for you. So take control of it. There is nobody else who is really going to take care of you the way you need to be taken care of. Only you can do it. Only you can help yourself. So make a stand this holiday and just do one thing that is totally for you. Do it without guilt. Do it without feeling anxious that you're letting somebody else down. Make a stand. Claim it and enjoy it, whatever you do. Okay? And I really wish you a happy, peaceful half term. I really hope you're able to get things done that you want to get done, but I also really hope you're able to just do something that really nourishes you and put something back into you when you've done so much giving out. Have a lovely holiday. I'll see you soon.